6-800-8000. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult.
Hey, welcome in. Just about ready to kick off a short week of Bruce Hooley shows. Thanks for joining us. Well, it is a short week of Bruce Hooley shows. Thanksgiving is Thursday, and that means Friday is Black Friday, the day where a lot of people go out at ridiculously early hours of the day and get great deals on big screen TVs and hopefully don't beat each other up. And while you were doing that on Friday or doing whatever else you do on what is quite likely a free day off from your normal work week post-Thanksgiving, maybe that will be the day that Ohio Governor Mike DeWine signs what is colloquially being referred to as the bathroom bill, which would restrict bathrooms across the state, men's rooms to men, biological men, and women's restrooms and locker rooms to biological women. The state Senate has passed that bill. It has been on the governor's desk for more than a week, and he has not signed it yet, which prompted some people to ask me yesterday in church, what is the governor waiting on to sign the bill? And we don't know, except my supposition is that he is waiting on maximum cover. He is waiting on the classic Friday news dump. And there would be no more classic Friday news dump than after Thanksgiving, unless it would be the final Friday of the year, which you will recall, or maybe not, but allow me to remind you that it was the final Friday of 2023 when Mike DeWine decided to not sign the SAFE Act, which outlawed transgender surgeries on minors and restricted girls and women's sports to girls and women. Mike DeWine vetoed that bill. You say, wait, don't we have that law in Ohio? We do, thanks to the Ohio General Assembly supermajorities of Republicans who overrode his veto. And we don't know, maybe he's willing to be further embarrassed by the General Assembly, by the Ohio House, the Ohio Senate again. I mean, once you kind of break that plane, you don't really mind in, I guess, breaking it a second time. But this has caught the attention not just of me, not just of people at my church, not just of people who serve in Republican politics in the state of Ohio, but it has caught the attention of National Review. Now, National Review is a self-styled conservative magazine, and I would refer to National Review, I would say it is a old line conservative magazine. They are not Trump guys, so they are not MAGA. They are decidedly anti-Trump guys. You hear some of their personnel, Jim Garrity most notably on the Hugh Hewitt show, and Jim Garrity has often said that he would not vote and did not vote for Donald Trump. So this is not a thing where Mike DeWine is out of step with the MAGA crowd. This is another thing where Mike DeWine is out of step with mainstream conservative thought, because the number of Republicans who believe in men are men, women are women, and that line cannot be blurred or changed surgically, is in the 90th plus percentile. Okay. It even has a majority of Democrats who believe that. But Mike DeWine is a scared little man who is afraid of the LGBTQ lobby, who doesn't want to offend anyone, who doesn't want to take a stand on anything. And the fact that he has waited at all to sign this bill is proof of the fact that he is a deep disappointment as a supposedly conservative governor. And that is why National Review is taking him to task today. And it reflects on the fact that he vetoed the SAFE Act last year on the last Friday of the year. And it notes DeWine's rationale was dubious. He applied a hands-off approach to these procedures, protecting kids from sexual mutilation surgeries and women from men playing their sports and not being in their spaces, because that's what the new law would do. He applied a hands-off approach to these procedures that was noticeably absent in other executive actions he had taken. He failed to recognize the special interest the state has in protecting children from harm, and he ignored how other nations, even in progressive Europe, have recognized the damage transgenderism has wrought. Fortunately, Ohio's legislature succeeded where DeWine failed and overrode his veto. Yes. And NR goes on to note that the view of transgender people having the rights that they want to have, which is to invade women's spaces in this latest issue before the governor, is a big part of the reason why Sherrod Brown lost his bid for a fourth term in the Senate. Now, Sherrod Brown flat out lied to you in all of his campaign commercials, where he labeled a lie that he has supported these radical transgender policies before. I told you it was a lie. He found some hack in Cleveland media, ostensibly at a television station, to lie for him, and they clipped that and used it in the commercials. But Sherrod Brown has not just backed these policies, he has been a co-sponsor of legislation that would have ingrained these protections on gender identification, the same as they are ingrained for race, sex, military status, and other things. So, NR continues. Governor DeWine, surely cognizant of the sentiments behind the Senate vote, is reportedly inclined to sign the bill, but he is conducting a legal review first. We hope this review does not conveniently discover a cowardly fig leaf that he will use to justify repeating his behavior of last year, because 11 other states have passed bills like the one now on his desk. Joining them by signing it would protect minors in the state, affirm biological reality, and contribute another signal that woke excess is now on the defensive and maybe even on the back foot. Yes. Now, again, let me state, because I know it will be perceived this way by people in the LGBTQ community, that those of us who insist upon biological reality determining who is allowed to enter a bathroom or a locker room is not a hateful position to take. It is a truth position to take. And the truth is not kind or unkind. It is not hateful or compassionate. The truth is simply that. It is simply the truth. If it offends you, well, there's nothing I can do about that. But your degree of being offended does nothing, zero, zip, nada, to nullify the fact that it is true that men cannot become women and women cannot become men. Men cannot chest feed a baby. Men cannot have a baby. Men cannot menstruate. Hence, trans women are not women. They are men. They may think they are men, or excuse me, they may think they are women. They may be under a mental delusion that they are women, and that is sad. And they hopefully will find treatment for that, but they will find nothing but misery if they undergo a sexual mutilation surgery, or in the case of a child, if they are placed on puberty blockers. And Mike DeWine should know that, because it is a biological fact. So, NR goes on to say, this inveterate public servant, for a second when I read it, I thought they wrote this invertebrate public servant, which would be more accurate, should not consider the unlikelihood that he will face voters again as a reason to insulate himself from their clear desires and interests. Yes, this is all about Mike DeWine knowing that he is on his political retirement tour. He has hidden in his governor's bunker from issues that are important to the Ohio electorate that put him in office, and has put him in office for years and years and years and years. They have put him in office as a U.S. congressman. They have put him in office as an Ohio attorney general. They have put him in office as a U.S. senator. They have put him in office as a governor. They put him in office all the way back to when he was like a local county prosecutor. And the return on that loyalty from the Ohio voters is a governor who will not stand up for the children of the state or the women of the state, which is a deplorable legacy for Mike DeWine to have. And that will be his legacy. I don't know what he's thinking as to how he can transition out of office and be viewed as one of Ohio's great statesmen. First of all, that's a reach, because he certainly was never even in the running for president of the United States, and Ohio has produced its share of U.S. presidents. So I'm sure Mike DeWine fancies himself to be some kind of great statesman, but he is not James Rhodes. He is not Ulysses S. Grant. My guess is he will not prove to be J.D. Vance's equal either. And every time he dithers on an issue like this, it just underscores the fact that the longer he has been in office, the greater disappointment he has been to those who have given him their electoral support. He no doubt thinks that he is some kind of grand favorite of the Ohio electorate. He is fortunate that he ran against a radical like Nan Whaley as governor, a unrepentantly pro-abortion candidate. That is what explains Mike DeWine's vast electoral victory the last time he was elected governor. It is certainly not his conservative bona fides, as he has demonstrated in his fecklessness on vetoing the SAFE Act and on stalling before he signs this latest bill, which would protect women in bathrooms.
Periods of rain this afternoon. The high today at 56. Clouds and rain tapering off. Breezy late tonight, low 38. Sunny clouds, breezy and cool tomorrow. The high 45. For tomorrow night, it'll be partly to mostly cloudy, low 32. Clouds on Wednesday, rain and snow by nightfall. The high Wednesday at 45. Thanksgiving Day, rain, chilly day, high 42. Clouds and cold on Friday with a high at 36. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
You can really make a difference in the life of an older adult by volunteering to deliver Meals on Wheels. This is Chuck Gehring, president of Life Care Alliance, your Meals on Wheels provider. We need more volunteers. Listen to how serving as a volunteer for Life Care Alliance has touched the life of one of our volunteers.
I'm Dan Marvin. I've been doing Meals on Wheels for almost 20 years now. When I first started, it was just something I thought I could help people out with, but it turned out that I ended up helping myself. It's a labor of love, and I do it.
QC Kinetics back here.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Hi, my name's Penny Master Rose. I was raised to give back, and Life Care Meals on Wheels is a great way to do that.
Make a difference today. To learn more, call 444-MEAL or 444-6325 or visit us at lifecarealliance.org.
I have a lifetime of experience as a financial planner.
A lawyer.
A homemaker. An educator.
A mechanic. A nurse.
You know what I am now? I'm a senior corps RSVP volunteer. I build homes and young minds. I build parks and playgrounds.
And support our nation's veterans.
I build gardens and help families with their finances. I build healthy futures.
And organize disaster relief. I build teams and friendships.
And families.
I build lives and communities.
And myself. I'm a builder and I lead by experience. How about you?
Join Senior Corps RSVP.
Lead by experience.
At seniorcorps.gov.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty, something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. It's not about paranoia
Or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so badly, he ended up in the emergency room and spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is don't be shy about telling people not to smoke around your kids.
Half of U.S. kids are exposed to secondhand smoke. If you or someone you know wants help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Well, I heard that forecast for Thanksgiving snow. That doesn't sound good. That means the shovel's got to get out, and that means the pain could start or flare back up, not just start. You're dealing with back pain. You're dealing with elbow, hip, knee, wrist pain, arthritic pain. You don't have to deal with it unattended. You don't have to have surgery, and you may not have to have any debilitating medicines that, sure, provide pain relief, but also have side effects, because the cure could be a consultation away and treatment away at QC Kinetics. Clinics in Gahanna and Dublin do a fantastic job with advanced regenerative therapies, which means they use your blood to heal your body. Your blood heals a sprained ankle or a cut finger or something like that. Why would it not be able to heal arthritic pain if it is re-injected into your body at strategic intervals like they do at QC Kinetics? Very scientific. Check it out. Free consultation, 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Well, if you're curious what Joseph R. Biden is up to this morning, he is pardoning turkeys at the White House. No, not Alejandro Mayorkas or Kamala Harris. Real actual turkeys. This is the thing they do at Thanksgiving at the White House. They have 2 turkeys and they pardon them. Let's see if he can read the teleprompter flawlessly.
Each weighs 41 pounds. Love to eat hot dish and tater tots, and cross-country skis. You know, dreams to see, but the real dream he has is to see the Northern Lights, I'm told.
That's the president, ladies and gentlemen. It's November 25th. You just got to make it to January 20th before the world falls apart. I'm sure everything will be fine. I'm not as sure that everything will be fine here in the city of Columbus after the first of the year, when Democrat, of course, Shayla Favor takes over as Franklin County prosecutor. Now, we have a Democratic Franklin County prosecutor, Gary Tyak. He has been a colossal disaster, as is city council, as is the mayor's office, as is everything in the city of Columbus, because every single office is occupied by a Democrat. Shayla Favor, I know this. Shayla Favor's shoes are, don't go near Shayla Favor today, because if you look down at her shoes, you will be blinded by the sun reflecting off of them after this shoe shine she got in the Columbus Dispatch this morning. 7-page tribute to the legal bastion, Shayla Favor, who was appointed to Columbus City Council. And Columbus, like California, is a place where Democrats will win every single election, because the people in this town don't want to hold Democrats responsible for any of the issues that they have, whether it is poverty, whether it is crime. The only people who get held accountable in the city of Columbus are Columbus police officers. And boy, Shayla Favor is going to continue to do that, because what comes through in this profile of her in the Dispatch is that she is all about playing to her constituencies in the African-American community, which she perceives want police officers to be tried no matter whether their actions are justifiable or not. Now, today was supposed to be the day that former Columbus police officer Adam Coy was sentenced by a judge after being found guilty of an unjustified shooting of Andre Hill. But, as I told you last week, the prosecution in the case had a second expert witness in police shootings who did not tell the prosecution what the prosecution wanted to hear. And so the prosecution did not tell the defense that there was a competing police expert witness, and the prosecution kept this a secret from the defense all throughout the trial. And after the verdict, I said after the verdict, the defense found out about this expert, and now there is a motion on the table for a new trial for Adam Coy, which means that Gary Tyak's office most likely will have to hand this over to Shayla Favor, which she will only be too happy to prosecute Adam Coy again, just like they are only too happy to prosecute Jason Meade again. And just like if they don't get a verdict in the other cases in town or around town that they want involving the Blendon Township officer who was almost run over by Takia Young, or the officers who pounded on the door and sent dogs in to Warren Donovan Lewis and he still wouldn't come out of his room. If they don't get a verdict in that case that they like, they will no doubt try that officer again, because that is what Shayla Favor is committed to. So if you are a Columbus police officer, if you're anywhere near retirement, I would highly suggest that you do that. That you take the money and you run for your personal safety, because you have two choices. You have a choice to get out of your cruiser, not fire back at someone who poses a danger to you according to your training, and become a target for their accuracy as a person who wants to take a pot shot at a cop, or you can do your duty and then you can face prosecution from Shayla Favor and her henchmen in the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office going forward. But of course, Columbus police officers are not going to be the victim in 2025 and going forward with Shayla Favor in the prosecutor's office, because Shayla Favor has already beaten them to the punch. In the first page of this glowing portrayal of Shayla Favor, it is stated by Bethany Bruner, the writer of the story, other friends believe and worry that Favor's blackness alone will make her a target of hate and unfair criticism. It is really annoying that in 2024, someone being black still continues to play this card. Shayla Favor was appointed to city council, okay? She was added to the city attorney's office. She was elected as Franklin County prosecutor. Yet none of that, apparently, undoes the perpetual stench of slavery, which was eradicated from the United States of America in 1865. That horrific stain on American history, which has been eradicated and which has been covered by affirmative action and other things, it never ends. Playing this card that she's black and so she will face undue criticism. She will not face undue criticism because she might do her job in a way that justifies reasonable debate about whether or not she should do it this way or do it that way. No, you can't criticize her for the same reason you couldn't criticize Barack Obama, because they are black. And that insulates them from any and all criticism and any fair evaluation. So I really feel bad for police officers in the city of Columbus, particularly white police officers in the city of Columbus, because there's a sentence in this story. As a black prosecutor, she will also feel the pressure of Columbus's black residents to show up for a vocal, active community that has experienced police violence. Maybe you've experienced police violence because you're in a violent community that you make violent. I would hope she could be an independent, trustworthy arbiter, but I have no hope that Shayla Favor will be so.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885.
He knows firsthand what it's like to live under communism. That's why he'll boldly tell you that America truly is the shining city on the hill. He's Sebastian Gorka, and he's on America First, weekday afternoons from 3 to 5 on 98.9 FM. The Answer. The sage from South Central has returned. Larry Elder is back and better than ever on the Larry Elder podcast.
Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, he ran the table.
Don't gloat, Larry. People are sick of being told that things are better now than they were 3.5 years ago. Maybe if Beyonce had sung a song or two, the outcome would have been somewhat different. It's just my theories. Just some theories I have.
Subscribe to the Larry Elder podcast today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half every single month. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile want you to believe you need unlimited data so they can overcharge you. Here's the fact. Most of you are buying way more data than you will ever need. Pure Talk only charges you for data you actually need. Listen to this. For just $25 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data, plus hotspot. Do you know what you can do with 5 gigs of data? You can browse the internet for 135 hours, stream 1,000 songs, or watch 10 hours of video. Stop overpaying for wireless and get 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Dial pound 250 and say spend less. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will make switching easy. There's no contract and no activation fee. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go, with The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, soon app, or iPhone.
It is Christmas Mortgage Miracle Time at 9890answer.com. Yes, if you go to 9890answer.com, you can register to be the grand prize winner in the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes, which will put $18,000 on the table. No, you can't use it however you want, but you can use it to pay your mortgage or to pay your rent in 2025. $18,000. Wow, what a deal that is. How many times can you enter? Once per day, up to December the 22nd. And there are bonus opportunities to enter more than once per day legally, not like, Pennsylvania ballots or California ballots, which are still being counted. We will have a grand prize winner in this, the 7th annual installment of this promotion, and you could be that winner. $18,000. Enter to win today at 9890answer.com. And while you're there, maybe you also enter to win and be a winner of one of the 10 pairs of tickets that we had to give away to Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Nationwide Arena on December the 26th. Enter both at 9890answer.com. So this obsession that Democrats have with race played into their loss in the election 3 weeks ago tomorrow. It has been a signature aspect of the Biden administration ever since they took office. It has shredded public education with their DEI initiatives, their equity initiatives, and it has led to efforts by Republicans to pare back DEI because we got a Supreme Court ruling in the middle of 2 summers ago saying that affirmative action is unconstitutional. That, I know, it's a shocker. Ibram X. Kendi is wrong when he says the only cure for racism going forward is more racism to avenge the racism of the past. So I came across this audio cut last week from one of the wacko members of Congress who occasionally makes news for herself with her unhinged rants. Her name is Jasmine Crockett. She is from Texas, I think Dallas or Houston, one of the big cities, which of course is like Ohio. Texas is like Ohio. In the rural areas, you get Republicans elected. In the cities, you get unhinged Democrats elected. So this is the rant that I heard from Jasmine Crockett, and she's a racist, like Joy Reid is a racist, like so many members of the Progressive Caucus in Congress are racist, and they believe racism is the only cure for past racism. But I didn't know what it was about. So I want you to hear the rant, first of all, from Jasmine Crockett that piqued my interest, and then we'll go into what it was about.
But you consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression. And I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a Black woman who practiced civil rights,
there we go, race card.
The reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same Black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here.
Yeah, nobody asked to be here, right? I didn't ask to be here. Nobody asked to be here. Okay, so that's the flaw in her argument. And the other flaw in her argument is that while I didn't experience any of that, neither did she. Neither did she. She's in Congress. She went to an all-girls Catholic school. She has been advantaged throughout her life, no doubt, because of the fact that she's able to make a passionate case, unhinged from reality though it may be. Jasmine Crockett has used the system to advance, or at least to help her advance, to the point where she is. Now, far be it from me to disparage her credentials and chalk them up solely to her sex or her race. Let me allow Jasmine Crockett to make the passionate case for why she is someone that you and I should listen to. Listen very carefully to the first credential she lists, which, you know, if I were going to list my credentials, which I wouldn't do because I'm not a condescending moron like Jasmine Crockett, but if I were going to list my credentials, I would lead with what I think is the most impressive credential I have, right? Don't you want to win the argument up front? Don't save it to the end. Don't bury the lead. Give your most impressive credential up front. So here's Jasmine Crockett giving her own credentials, presumably with her most impressive credential up front.
There seemed to be this question of you're either diverse or you're qualified. All I could think about was the fact that I currently hold an honorary doctorate. I also hold a Juris Doctorate. I also hold a bachelor's. I also technically hold the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Civil Air Patrol, and I actually practiced law for almost 2 decades, in addition to serving on various boards, in addition to being a prior state lawmaker.
She has an honorary doctorate. An honorary doctorate she has. Does that mean she went to school, wrote a thesis, has a PhD? No. Does it mean that somebody wanted to bring a U.S. congressman to their graduation, and so in order to get her there, they gave her an honorary doctorate? Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire made the point that this is not even as impressive as his kids giving him a world's best dad coffee mug, because he actually had to be a dad in such a fashion that his kids would think he's worthy of a world's best dad coffee mug. She didn't have to do anything to get an honorary doctorate except show up. Show up. Okay, so, well, it's a cheap shot, Bruce. Jasmine Crockett certainly has other credentials. Why don't you let her articulate how smart she is from the House floor, arguing against this bill put forward by Republicans. J.D. Vance had a bill like this. Now somebody else in the House has a bill like this to eradicate DEI and advantaging people based upon sex or race or any other immutable characteristic, advantaging them based upon those characteristics rather than on meritocracy. Allow Jasmine Crockett to show her big brain so that we all understand why she is so passionately against exorcising DEI from federal government hiring practices.
Many of you know that I practice law, but some of you don't realize that I actually was a business major out of Rhodes College.
Oh, see how smart I am.
And the emphasis that I got in my business degree was on finance. And as I traveled the country campaigning this election cycle, one of the things that I talked about was this idea that in finance, we always promote this idea of diversity.
Diversity.
If you know anything about a portfolio, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that it's as diverse as possible, because at times certain stocks will perform better than others, and they will exemplify various strengths and weaknesses. And together, a diverse portfolio is usually what any good finance person would promote. They wouldn't promote that you solely invest in vanilla wafers, believing that that is going to be the strongest portfolio, but instead they may want to add some chocolate cake and some Twinkies into the mix to make sure that we have the best portfolio, because there will be different preferences by different people. And again, there will be different strengths.
So Jasmine Crockett, finance major, giving you a lesson about diversity and why diversity is important, and diversity is important in your portfolio. And she's equating it to the stock market, and you need diverse stocks, which, you know, is true, but not the way she says it. She is making the argument that the federal government should hire people based upon so many whites, so many blacks. Well, she'd probably like to get rid of all the whites, but so many black people, so many Indian people, so many Asian people, so many this. Is that how you put a stock portfolio together? Do you say, you know, I have Coca-Cola, but in order to be fair, I probably ought to have some Pepsi too. I probably ought to have some vitamin water. I probably ought to have some Fresca or whatever else. No, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. Because if you have the best stock in a sector, you have selected it based upon its dominance of the market, which is to say, based upon what? Oh, that's right. It's meritocracy. And then you augment that stock with what to have a diverse portfolio? A great stock from another sector, not another stock from the same sector that is inferior to the stock you own. So this is her trying to show her big brain and instead showing how utterly stupid she is, which she has company in that. Here's Ayanna Presley, fellow squad member.
So just like to take a personal note of privilege to say, please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths. Your perversion of his words and his mission, when his children have asked you to stop invoking his name and perverting his work when he was a proud and unapologetic Black man fighting for equality for Black Americans and all marginalized people.
So you're not allowed to use Martin Luther King if you're white, which didn't sit well with Louisiana Representative Clay Higgins.
I appreciate my Democrat colleague for exemplifying exactly the kind of oppression of freedoms that we're referencing. How about we'll quote whoever we want to quote? How about that's my First Amendment right? That's exactly the kind of baked-in oppression. Like, how dare a white Republican
For tomorrow night, it'll be partly to mostly cloudy, though 32. Clouds on Wednesday, rain and snow by nightfall, the high Wednesday at 45. Thanksgiving Day, rain, chilly day, high 42. Clouds and cold on Friday with a high at 36. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Ever find yourself in a situation where your cell phone just won't connect? Maybe you're hiking through the mountains, sailing offshore, or caught in a storm that knocks out cell towers. In an emergency, your cell phone may not cut it. You need to visit the satellite phone store at sat123.com so you stay safe and never worry about dropping signals again. When hurricanes, hacking, or weather interruptions strike, stay connected with a satellite phone. Unlike cell phones, satellite phones connect directly to satellites, ensuring reliable communication from anywhere on the planet, no matter the condition. Visit sat123.com to have peace of mind. Even now, areas affected by Hurricane Helene still lack cell service, but satellite phones, they're still working and 100% reliable. Don't wait for the next disaster. Secure your lifeline today with a satellite phone. Visit sat123.com. Stay safe. Stay connected at sat123.com.
The Christmas Mortgage Miracle is back. For 7 years, 98.9 FM The Answer and the Christmas Mortgage Miracle has made it possible to win next year's mortgage or rent. This year, the grand prize is $18,000. Increase your opportunity to win by entering up to once per day and complete optional bonus tasks for even more chances to win. Receive this blessing for 2025 with the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. Enter to win today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
Are you among the millions of Americans living with chronic pain? If so, you may think prescription opioids are the solution. The truth is, the benefits of opioids are limited. Opioids only mask the pain. Opioids also come with serious side effects, ranging from nausea to withdrawal symptoms to overdose. As many as 25% of people who are prescribed opioids struggle with addiction. And those who are addicted to opioids are 40 times more likely to move on to heroin. No one wants to live in pain, but no one should put their health at risk to be pain-free. There is another choice: physical therapy. Physical therapists treat pain through movement and exercise, no warning labels required, and you get to be an active participant in your care. Choose to treat your pain safely. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist near you. This public service announcement is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons the freedom to read their way, listen to their stories.
When I lost my sight, the only thing I had was reading, and it was like therapy to me.
NLS has pretty much anything you possibly want to read. Just can't recommend it enough. It's a free service. It's amazing how much you can get.
I have used every means there is, I think, of getting access to the National Library Service books.
If you want to read in electronic braille, you can. If you want to read on your phone, you can. If you want to read in hard print, you can.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program, and it's a program worth looking into.
For more information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread or call 1-888-NLS-READ.
Pricing on MyPillow.com is outrageously low right now, which is good. Christmas is coming up, and you might be looking for someone who's hard to buy for. You want to get them something that they're going to use. Everybody uses a pillow every night, and so the best pillow out there, of course, is MyPillow. It is the brand that revolutionized the sleep industry. Have you noticed how many people try to make pillows that are superior to MyPillow? That is a fool's errand, because nobody makes a pillow that has the exact right fiber and fill, that's washable, that never goes flat, and I'm still using mine after 8 years. So well worth my investment, which yours will be significantly lower, because I paid $80 for mine, and as I said, feel like I got a great deal. But you will pay less than $15 for a standard MyPillow, less than $20 for a queen or a king MyPillow. And there are other great deals at MyPillow.com. The best deals when you use my promo code Bruce. So go MyPillow.com, plug in my promo code, and watch those prices drop. Deadline coming up on signing up for the free credit monitoring. The city of Columbus is willing to provide the 500,000 or so people who were hacked, had their data hacked in the big summer ransomware attack on the city. I don't know if their data protection is any good. There's, I guess, some risk in putting your trust in people who allowed your information to be hacked in the first place. The protection is from Experian, which is one of the leading names out there. You have until Friday the 29th. So that's this Friday. They have budgeted, the city has $1.6 million to provide credit monitoring for the 500,000 people or so who have been disadvantaged by this. At least a half a dozen Columbus police officers have had their bank accounts drained Other undercover officers have had their identities exposed. I hazard a guess that we'll never know the depth of the degree to which this compromised people's safety and financial security, or other inconveniences that they suffered, because, you know, disclosing it is an own goal for the city, which already looks bad enough because it's too interested in investing $100 million in a bike path, not in modernizing its cybersecurity software. So if you want the free credit monitoring protection, I mean, I can give you the website, but I doubt you'll remember it. It's columbus.gov/cyber. You might remember that. columbus.gov/cyber. You can also call a number and there's a code. You'll never remember that if I give it to you over the radio. So just, you can follow the sage advice of Jasmine Crockett and Google it. I'm sure it will come up. Cybersecurity expert Sean Waldman tells NBC4, I generally tell people, even outside of this incident, to already assume that all of your information has been compromised anyway. Yeah, that's true of all of us. I would contact all 3 credit bureaus and do what's called freezing your credit. My wife and I do that. We freeze our credit anytime we want to apply for a new card or anything. You just call them and unfreeze it, and then after you get approved, you just call them and freeze it again. So that's a wise move to make. How many people have signed up? About 3% of possible victims. So that might be like people waiting until the last minute, because when they first announced it, you're like, oh, I got forever. Or it might be, how good can this be? City of Columbus is providing it. But you have until Friday, so you have been warned. Now, I want to revisit, because I didn't get to play the entire Clay Higgins cut responding to Ayanna Pressley. Congress, with Republicans in control of the House, with Republicans in control of the Senate, with Donald Trump in the White House, have a chance. We have a chance. I'm not going to overrate our ability to get something done that should be a slam dunk. But we have a chance to eradicate all the DEI initiatives that the Biden administration put in. And let me just refresh your memory on how many they put in. On his first day in office, one of the things Joe Biden did was sign an executive order saying that they were going to incorporate equity into every branch of government. Miguel Cardona, who's the head of the Department of Education, which that soon will go away, I hope, issued what was called an agency equity plan to address, listen to the woke nonsense in this, long-standing disparities among particular racial, ethnic, sexual, and gender identity groups through new policies to address students' holistic needs. Barf. This plan, and I've dealt with this on one of the endeavors that I'm engaged in away from the air, for state and local recipients of certain federal resources to use funding to meet students' social, emotional, mental health, academic, and other needs. And I might add, created headaches of all kinds of types for people who administrate over these efforts, and allowed other entities which put together video packages and this, that, and the other to hide content and slip it in. And then on the back end, you have a problem with one of the few parents who actually monitors this stuff. And again, I keep telling you guys, parents, you have to be vigilant about every class material that passes in front of your child's eyes. Every single one you do, okay? It's not the fault of the administrators in your district, although some of them may be fully on board with it, like certainly the woke principal at Olentangy Orange is on board with it. Some school boards are on board with it. Some are not. But they put equity through everything. Okay. And equity basically does not pay any attention to, is this effective? No, is it equitable? Okay. So the Republicans are trying to get rid of this. Okay. And Ayanna Pressley, who's a member of the squad, you may recognize her if you saw her because she's got a shaved head. She's a black woman. I don't know what state she's from. I want to say Michigan, but I think that's wrong. Anyway, Pressley and other Democrats hate it when white legislators say, well, Martin Luther King said content of character, not color of skin. So she's ranting about this to the members of Congress.
And I'd also like to take a personal note of privilege to say, please keep Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s name out of your mouths.
Yeah. Keep him out of your mouth because we don't want to pay any attention to what he actually said about content of character because he's black. And if you use a black guy to undercut my view as a black woman, well, then that's got to be racist, right? So Clay Higgins, outspoken Louisiana guy. What is it with all the great legislators from Louisiana? John Kennedy, Clay Higgins. Clay Higgins, full cut, which I had to cut off the last time because we were going to break. I want you to hear every word of this as to why what Ayanna Presley says is utter nonsense.
I appreciate my Democrat colleague for exemplifying exactly the kind of oppression of freedoms that we're referencing. How about we'll quote whoever we want to quote? How about that's my First Amendment right? That's exactly the kind of baked-in oppression. Like, how dare a white Republican quote Martin Luther King? We actually had a congressman say that just now in this committee. Well, and thank you, good lady, for once again exemplifying the type of oppression that we stand against. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Order. Mr. Higgins has the floor.
And we will quote who we please to quote. And we will continue to speak freely because I'm a veteran. That's the country that I serve. That's the Constitution I sworn allegiance to. And that oath has no expiration date. I will fight for it with my last life's blood. For my right to speak freely and yours, good lady. You will never hear me saying, how dare you quote anybody you please to quote. And that exemplifies, America, precisely the type of institutional oppression that my colleague, Mr. Cloud's bill, for which I'm an original co-sponsor, hopes to push back against.
Yeah, and I hope they succeed in this because it is one of the reasons why Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will be able to take a machete to so much government spending is because our agencies have been captured by just these kinds of initiatives where we don't reward people on the necessity of the jobs that they have. We give them jobs because it makes the racial balance or the gender balance look good.
It's not an offer. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333.
All right, that'll do it for hour number one. I really appreciate you guys watching, and our audience has gone up here in recent weeks, which I'm very happy about and which I really appreciate. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving week, and you take care. Thanks again for your time. I really do appreciate it.
The Thanksgiving travel rush is expected to be bigger than ever this year. AAA predicts that nearly 80 million people in the U.S.